Old McDonald All American.
We live now, baby. We live.
Hey, we live now, man.
Absolutely. Ain't no turning back right now, man. I appreciate you, Chant, for jumping on this Monday at What's in Your Glass, man. And I know I'm in a bubble down here in Orlando, so
you're in Orlando, huh?
Absolutely. A lot of people was trying to figure out if I was gonna keep it going.
Right.
But I gotta keep it going. It's that's what makes it fun. That's what makes the bubble fun. But also the people who's like the avid viewers and listeners and all of that, it
is because people want to know what you're doing in the bubble, huh?
People want to know what I'm doing in the bubble. We can't call it a bubble though. We can't call it the bubble no more. It's a campus.
It's the campus. So what's it like down there? What's the real feeling like? Is it like everybody's like a little like standoffish or?
Nah, it's almost like it's like a summer league, right? It's like a big ass, and like a big ass AAU tournament down here. It's like an upscale,
back in the
upscale AAU tournament down here. But it's good because everybody, all the athletes, all the players is on one campus. Even though we can't go to other hotels at the moment, right. But we making it do. The first couple of days was tough because we had to quarantine. You gotta get tested and quarantine away from everybody. But now that you practicing, you playing, you going through the day-to-day, grind.
That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, Melo. Since you ain't been playing, and it's a lot been going on and stuff like that. You feel a difference in your game? Like, do your game feel fresh now, or what? Like,
it's your body feel fresh, right? Your body and your mind feel fresh. Other than that, everything else, it is what it is, right? So I don't, as long as you keep working and doing what you do and just sharpening your craft, you got to keep your mind and your body right at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, shit, you look damn near the same from Syracuse. You don't look that much different, shit.
That means I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you been doing something right, boy. You been drinking your water, your Neutrogena. So
listen, I got my water and my vino. That's all I need.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Hey, man, your son is cold, man. That's my little partner right there, man.
I'm sure he not watching this right now, but I'm sure once I tell him, he gonna lock in. I already know how he get down.
Man, he looked like my family right there, man.
That's always love. Let's get the people. What you drinking today? Let's start that off.
Hey, you know what, Melo? I got a little bottle of wine called Opus One.
Hold on. First of all, that's not a little bottle. Nobody just go pick a bottle of Opus One and just talk about it's a little bottle.
Yeah, it's called Opus One. You know what I mean? But I really ain't a wine drinker, but every now and then I'll drink a little wine. I really like I like brown liquors. I'm a Hennessy man. I like Hennessy and all that.
Listen, we can't drink Henny down here. You'll pass out down here in Orlando off the Henny.
It's that hot, huh?
It's that hot. You'll pass out off the Henny.
You know what I wanted you to do? I want you to do a favor. I want you to do me a favor, man. I want you to give out 2 shouts out to guys that was. I mean, when I tell you they was the shit in high school. They just didn't make it pro. That you remember, man. Give me 2 guys' names when you played high school that you was like, man, that dude was the shit. He didn't make it pro though.
It was so in Baltimore, it was 2 guys that I always looked up to, right? And from a basketball standpoint, like that's who I wanted to be like. And one of them was named Mark Karcher. He wound up going to Temple, playing at Temple back.
Mark Karcher
back in the 90s and late 90s. And the other one was Michael Lloyd. Right, Michael Lloyd went to Syracuse, and
Michael Lloyd. Yeah, I heard of him, Michael Lloyd.
So that was the AI days when Syracuse and Georgetown was going back and forth. So those are the 2 guys from B-More that was just like, God damn, like I gotta be like that's what I want to be right there. You know what I'm saying?
Them 2 dudes,
yeah, everybody felt like that though, growing up in B-More. Like those was the 2 guys who
2 guys
a little bit older than me that I really looked up to. And then you start getting older, right? You start getting guys that kind of street legends. You know what I'm saying? So those were the guys that I looked up to. I never really looked up to like NBA players back in the day. It was just the
Right.
nice guy that was, that was on my block or in my neighborhood.
Yeah, and when you played in Baltimore, right? Was it a more of a rival when you played DC guys or New York guys?
Well, DC, because it was super close. Like that was DC. It was a battle in everything.
It didn't matter, huh?
In everything. Like it was basketball. It was sports.
They play go-go. Y'all play
house. We got our club music. They got go-go, right? So it was that, but also from a basketball standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, we always had the Baltimore DC games, which was, those was like NBA games back then.
Baltimore DC.
Absolutely. As a kid seeing that, like you was in, it was live and direct, that Be More DC connect. So that was
who was out of DC back then? Who was out of DC back then?
So you had the older guys, like, they was the older guys. So you had like the Kurt Smiths, but back in the day, the Lonnie Harrells and all of that.
Yeah, Lonnie Harrells.
Yeah, so then kind of my era was like the DeMar Johnsons, the Ronnie Whites. It was that era.
Right.
Keith Bogans, Keith Bogans was part of that era. But DC had it. I took my hat off to DC. They had it. They had it. But when it came to Be More, we always came to represent.
Yeah, Baltimore, man. One thing and that's crazy that you said that, because my little brother said he played. My little brother played AAU basketball, and I remember him telling me, like in the summer when they had to go travel. He was a little older than you, but he said he remembered playing Chris Webber when Chris Webber was. He said, man, he remember. I remember him coming on, man. He said, man, it was a big black motherfucker that was. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to cut. He said, but you know what I mean. In them AAU travel teams, they said that's when you got to see all of the young guys. Like probably when the guys in the NBA now, you probably seen a lot of them when they was young in them leagues, right?
Yeah, we had it. I mean, we saw everybody, right? But the thing is, Be More, especially for me, like I'm from West Baltimore, so we didn't have the funds and all that to start traveling AAU like that. So
man,
we had local teams that we was playing for. So we wanted to be known as the group, and Be More, that was the shit. Like we wanted West Baltimore, we always came to represent, but when we went out of town, East Baltimore, West Baltimore was always represent the city as a whole. But once you get back in town, so it was that east.
Yeah, Baltimore. Hey, Baltimore. That's a tough city. I remember one time, long time ago, I was with the boxer Rockman. You remember Rockman?
Absolutely.
Man, he took me to a mall out there that was abandoned, boy. The mall was a stray dog walking in the mall and everything, man.
Yo, let me ask you this, man. Now that we're talking about, back in the day and growing up, like, what was the moment that you knew you made it? Like, what was it? A project? What was it? A film? A sold out film, a stand up? Like, what was the moment when you knew you made it?
You know what, Carmelo? I think the moment that I thought I hadn't made it, but from where I came from and what I was trying to do, I think the moment that I thought I made it was when I lived in New York and I did Showtime at the Apollo. I did Showtime at the Apollo back in 1995.
Oh, that was the tough era too. That was a brutal era. That was New York, the Harlem in '95. I already know.
Sandman. They remember the Sandman, and hey man, it was crazy, man. But that's when I thought I made it. I thought I made it. I had a lot of work to do, but from where I came from, I was like, man, I'm doing something. You know what I mean?
What was when you made it, right? What was the first thing you bought yourself?
The first thing I bought myself was.
When you knew you made it, what was the first thing you bought?
You know what, man? And I tell people this all the time. It sounds crazy. Everybody be flipping out when I say this, but I remember calling my mother, because every black man's dream is to buy their mama a house. That's. I mean, that was the first thing I wanted to say out of my mouth was, "Mama, I'm gonna get you a house. And I called my mother and I was like, Mama, I won't, because got the Friday movie with Ice Cube. I was like, Mama, I'm really doing, because all these years I've been telling my mama I'm gonna get her a house, but I ain't have enough money to get her a house. I'm just like hyping myself up, hyping her. She wouldn't let me hype her up, you know. But when I got that Ice Cube movie, I said, Mama, I'm gonna get you that house. You know what I mean? I sent her a picture of my check stub and blah blah blah. And I remember my mother telling me, not yet, baby. She was like, you ain't all the way in yet. She said, don't mess up my little check that I get every month. Yeah. I bought myself a car, man. You know what I mean? I bought myself a 745. Remember the 745 BMWs came out, the big boy?
Quarter to eights, of course.
Quarter to eight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you, for me, like I've been in this my 17th year in the game.
Woo! That shit went quick, boy. I remember you first walking in there.
Absolutely. So, and I'm still trying to, every year I try to reinvent myself, right? I try to add something new and try to reinvent the wheel. So for you, like how do you keep yourself in the game? Like, I mean, you've been in it for a minute too, and not everyone can stay consistent at the end of the day. But you have. You're one of the guys who stay consistent, and continue to be consistent. How do you keep yourself in the game?
You know what, Carmelo? I just never I never consider myself really in the race.
Right.
You know, I always consider myself a person that was passionate and loved just what I did.
Right.
And I always looked at it, I said, I would do this if I wasn't getting paid for it. I would love the game. I would love the comedy game. If I wasn't, you know, I would be involved in it some kind of way. So in that aspect of it, it kind of kept me from being competitive as much. Because in my younger years, I was competitive.
Right.
But after I realized that I had a talent that I could use forever for a long time, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the best that I got with my talent. And my fans that love me and the people that accept me, they just embraced me on that. I never tried to keep up with the young guys, or I just knew that I had something that nobody else had. And if I just nurtured that, it would last throughout the years, you know? That's how I think you know?
That's a fact. Is anybody, like, who you want to work with next? Like this is me personally want to know this answer.
Yeah.
Who you want to work with next?
You know what, man? I've been talking to Jamie Foxx on the phone. Me and him been having some conversations. Me and Jamie Foxx is trying to do something together, but I would love to see all of us come together, man. At this time right now, Carmelo, you know, it should be one brother in the game, man, trying to compete or look at each other no kind of way, man. This is our time as Black people. This is our time to come together, man, and do something incredible. I would love to work with all of the guys, man, from Cat Williams to Kevin Hart to Chris Tucker, Ice Cube. I think we should all come together and do a big movie together, man. You know what I mean?
We need that Harlem Nights. That's what we need.
That's it right there.
We need that Harlem Nights.
We need a Harlem Nights, man. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna have a comedian that favorite's gonna be in there.
Absolutely. we need that Harlem Nights ASAP.
Yeah, we gotta have that Harlem Nights, man.
Let's get back to that Opus for a second, then we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
What made you pick that Opus? Because a lot of people want to know, because you say you don't drink, you're not really a wine drinker like that, but you want to grab the damn Opus.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll go in the store and I'll ask about it. If I don't know, like, I'm not really a red wine drinker, but my wife likes red wine. And when I go to the liquor store, I usually say, man, what's your most expensive wine? And when he show it to me, you know, they'll just give me a rundown on it. But the Opus is pretty smooth, man.
No, that's top notch. That's top notch.
It is?
Yeah, that's top notch. Whoever gave that to you or sold that to you, he did right.
He did. We took me in the back and said, Mike, I got one for you. Because he asked me, he said, what you want, a smooth one? Or you want one to party or what? I said, man, I'm smooth. He went and got me the opus one. So he got me the right one, huh, Melo?
Hey, he got that's a good one. That's a very good one.
That's a good one, huh?
Absolutely.
What would you tell some of these young basketball athletes out here, man, that I know you can contest and say that the times that we living in now are much different than the times that we lived in back then.
Right.
I know does it affect that game any kind of way?
Well, I think that's part of the consistency, right? It's almost like a rapper, right? You got a rapper from the 90s, early 2000s that's still relevant today. What make them relevant today is consistency at the end of the day, right? You take somebody like, say, a Fab, right? Fab or Kiss, Jadakiss, who been in the game damn near 20 years.
Right.
Still, no matter what happens with the game, they stay consistent. They find a way. They find a way to stay relevant.
You don't even look at their age or nothing.
Right. It's all about their relevancy and their consistency and their body of work. And that for me, it's all about just staying consistent. You know what I mean? Again, we talked about it earlier, finding a way to reinvent yourself and just do what you got to do because the game changed. I done seen the game change 3 times since I came to the NBA.
3 times?
3 times. I done seen it change 3 times.
3 times, Carmelo? You
talk about early 2000s, right? When it was heavy big men in the game, right? It was, every play down the court, you throwing it into Shaq. You throwing it into Garnett. You throwing it into like you playing out of those guys. Even in Indiana, they was throwing that shit into Rick Smith's. Like it was.
They was. It was a big game.
Right. Then it went to kind of. They had the guards at one point. It was very guard heavy. Then it was wing heavy. When I came in, it was very wing heavy.
It was wing heavy, yeah. Because all y'all guys was, all y'all, LeBron, all y'all was. It was a lot of wing.
So then after that. The game changed when once Golden State, and I'm talking about Golden State with BD and those guys. You know what I'm saying? They changed the game because they started going small. They put 5 guards out there on the court. The teams didn't know what to do with that shit back in the day.
I know it. It was,
right?
it was a new
game changed. The game changed about 3 times. Now the game is super athletic, super fast. The pace is out of this world. So if you don't reinvent yourself to be consistent in today's game, it's gonna be out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
they fast, huh?
Yeah, the game.
Can they shoot though? Can they shoot?
Well, they can shoot because that's the only thing that they have to work on, right? Because the game is so fast. So now it's speed and it's all threes, right? Pick and roll and 3-pointers. So there's no more. It's only a couple teams that I say slow the game down and you got to throw it inside and they play through the big men, but. Other than that, the game is wide open. It's spread out, and everybody do what they do.
That's right. That's what your game remind me of, man. Sometimes used to be playing like when you played in New York. I seen you in some games. Sometime I forgot you was a big man, man. I swear I did. It was crazy. Sometimes I forgot you was that tall because you was like. You would switch positions in your head like it. That's what it looked like to me.
Right.
It looked like you was playing damn near 3 positions on the floor.
Well, you had to. I mean, that was the epitome of what a small forward was when I came in. You had to be able to play that position. You had to be able to play down bottom. You had to be able to play outside, and you had to be able to shoot. So you had to have that versatility as a small forward coming into the league. I couldn't play the power forward position back then. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't.
Yeah, because they had real power forwards.
They had real power forwards. I wasn't going up against Carmelo and those. There was no way I was guarding those guys at the end of the day. So big Antonio Davis and shit like I wasn't guarding.
Derek McKee.
Man, we wasn't guarding those guys, man. So at the end of the day,
them Davis brothers was big down in that.
All right, so I wasn't trying to go down there and rock with them. So that's how the game changed now.
Right. Well, man, it's always an honor, man, and
always.
we appreciate you, Carmelo. You know, you one of the black men, one of the brothers, one of the athletes out here that you know stood tall for us, man, in a lot of different ways, man. And you know, I was just telling, I got an agent that works over at CAA, and you know, with all this stuff going on, man, it's really really crazy because if you're a black man and any white friends that you have, they all been calling me trying to get the temperature on how I feel. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it's a delicate thing because you don't want to be mean to them because they're your friends.
Right.
But you still want them to understand too, you know, as much as you can.
You gotta be honest. You gotta be honest because in today's time, if you're not honest, the conversation ain't going nowhere. Like you're just naive if you're not being honest. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the same boat as you. I have Jew friends, I have white friends, I got, you know, white business partners and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day,
you gotta be honest, like you said.
You gotta be honest and you gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like them conversations is uncomfortable at the end of the day. But if you gotta be comfortable with having those conversations, even though you may feel uncomfortable, you have to be willing to sit down and fucking bite your tongue and listen. I think the most important thing is listening.
It is, yeah, because you don't want to be because listen, I've been in the business for 20 years. I've been having the same Jewish agent for 20 years, and you know, all this stuff going on. I'm like, damn. You know, all kind of stuff run through your mind. You know, he's talking to me like I'm gonna snap on him about what's going on, and if I'm gonna attack him, and he's like, I'm serious. As soon as the stuff happened, he calls me. He's like, "Are you okay, Mike?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool." You know, but my people we ain't cool. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a fact.
We got some real issues, and I had to tell him. I'm like, I want you to understand how hard it is to be a black man in America, to be a black woman, to be black, period. A lot of people don't understand how hard it is, man. It really, it's no joke. You know, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, you know what? I have to admit that it's been so hard because, you know, like my dad wasn't present in my house. I love him to death, but he wasn't present in my house.
Right.
So when I became grown, Carmelo, it took me 10 years to figure out some other stuff that I should have knew.
Absolutely.
Then when I got there, it took me another 10 years.
Right.
And like, I'm looking at my kids now. I'm 50 years old, Carmelo. I'm looking at my kids like, and one of my daughters was like, you know what, Dad? You a good dad. But the way she was saying is like, you a good dad now. But I'm looking at my daughter like, thank God, because baby, it took me 50 years to get here mentally.
Absolutely.
As a man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what I didn't know it.
Right.
I can't be persecuted and prosecuted and punished for something that I did not know. I had to teach myself.
Right.
All of this stuff.
Right.
And now I'm 50 years old. I'm looking back and I'm saying, wow, man, I was self-taught a lot of this stuff that people were so mad about me not knowing. I just didn't know it.
And at the end of the day, for me, it took me a while because I had to, you know, I was always in my studies for a long time, but I'm not gonna say I didn't take it serious, but it was at that moment, it was just, I was doing it. Cool, I'll get to it.
And you was young.
I was young. I didn't know how to study.
Yeah, your mind just didn't work right.
As I started getting older, I think everybody needs to have knowledge of self. Like, you got to understand who you are first. You got to understand. Right. You got to understand what you know and what you don't know, and you got to be open to not knowing something, and having the willingness to want to learn at the end of the day. And I think all of that starts with the self at the end of the day. If you're not putting the work in the same way that you put in the work in for your gig and your jobs, and I'm putting the work in and on the court and in practice, you're not putting all those hours in to want to strengthen the mental and strengthen the spiritual, then it's not worth it. It's not going to be worth it at the end of the day. We're going to continue going through this
No
cycle.
doubt.
Right.
No
so
doubt.
we'll be going in a circle at the end of the day. And everybody going to continue to coming back to this one place of confusion. Because everybody is confused. Everybody want to know information. They don't know how to receive the information.
I know.
It's our duty, myself and yourself, to use our platforms at the end of the day to get whatever message we want to put out there. So I'll ask you this now that you said that, because as an actor and comedian, like, how do you use your platform like to support like social justice? Like, how you find ways to like bring that laughter and levity to such like difficult topics today?
Oh yeah, well you know what, Carmelo? This is the thing about that, is that I've always been active in helping our communities, especially my community, my hometown of Indianapolis. I lived in New York. I live in LA. I've always done things to help our community. I have a situation now where this last situation with the whole protesting and all of the different things, I kind of stepped back because I want to give credit to the youth. I want to give credit to the celebrities who went out there, Steven Jackson and Nick Cannon. I want to give credit to all of those guys who were out there on the front line and standing up for us, because it made me feel secure in where I was, because it made me understand that we all have a position.
Right.
And everybody can't play, as you know, understand basketball. Everybody can't play forward. Everybody can't play center.
Nope.
And I think my position in this whole thing with Black people is that I have to continue to understand who I am and help as much as I can. I think I've done a great job entertaining our people. I've done a great job in the past of being a part of. Man, I've been a part of bringing brothers home from the penitentiary forever.
Right.
And never got credit for that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And never have looked for credit for it, because I just didn't understand telling somebody that I gave somebody something.
Right.
But I think we all have a position, and if I can do a little something to help our people by posting things on my page or being a part of something when it's time to be a part of something, I think I can do my job. Can I be the head of it and the top man of it? No, because nowadays you get punished for an opinion, man.
And so you get judged off of an opinion because of what?
If you read wrong.
Because people are not comfortable with being uncomfortable. People don't want to have those real conversations. If you have real conversations with people, then nobody can judge you on what you believe.
It's all on the table.
Because we're not dealing with belief, we're dealing with facts. We're dealing with actual facts. And that's the only way that people, I don't think people want to deal with actual facts today, because it's uncomfortable. The actual facts is uncomfortable. That's tearing back the layers. That's really getting to the nitty-gritty of shit to like figure everything out. So I don't think people are ready for that.
Because there's nothing you can do to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett at this point, because they put it on the table themselves.
Right.
And like you said, if something is exposed, you have nothing else. You have nothing else on me. And I really don't care about being exposed anyway, because I figured it out. I said, damn, the whole world got problems. If you know my problems, I know you got a gang of them. Shit. What am I running from, and what am I embarrassed about you knowing something about me and you sitting up there with a whole closet full of problems? Everybody messed up out here.
Absolutely. And like you said, everybody got to play a role, man. And we all can attack the same road, the same lane. We all can't attack.
We can't attack. That's right. That right there. That you that's it right there. And people judge you for not jumping in the lane, and you like, it's too many people over there. What do I look like?
Also, that might not be your lane.
It's not your lane.
You gotta find your lane at the end of the day. You gotta find your lane.
Come on.
And
I jump in that lane sometime and say the wrong shit, and people misunderstand me.
Hey, you fuck around and say the wrong shit, and a lot of things gonna happen. You're gonna have a lot of people coming at you, black, white, and if, like, you're gonna have just a lot of people with opinions. But when you're dealing with actual facts, nobody can question those actual facts. But
that's right.
we got to get people to read. We got to get people to have that understanding to be able to talk about those actual facts. And until then, we're gonna still continue to fight this fight. And everybody's trying to find a position on where they fit in at today.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we are.
Absolutely. I mean, let me ask you this. In 2018, I think you published a book or a memoir, Unsuccessful. And Unsuccessful Thug, which kind of, explores your life and your childhood. Like,
yeah.
You also discuss how comedy saved your life.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, comedy, man. I would say that comedy saved my life because, at the end of the day, me having a sense of humor, man, helped me make some better decisions for myself, man. And I always tell people, I say, man, if I had this much sense, I would have been in the penitentiary for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? If I was just smarter about this much,
Right.
But I used to have a thing that I was like, damn, nobody takes me serious, and I had to catch myself, Mello, because I was like, that's a trick bag that the devil set up for you, Mike, because if nobody takes you serious, that means you really have to do it.
Absolutely.
So when you do it, you got to suffer the consequence of doing something that you was trying to prove to somebody. So I went on and again, it took me years to understand that, guess what, Mike? You're a comedian. You're here to make people laugh. You're here to entertain. That's not to say that you can't get an attitude. That's not to say that you can't, if you get in a squabble with a nigga, you can't throw your hands or whatever. That's not to say none of that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the bottom line is you are a comedian. You're here to make people laugh, and that's all God wants you to do. He don't want you to be a gangbanger. He don't want you to be a pimp. He don't want you to be a slick nigga or whatever. He wants you to make people laugh. And it took me years to understand that, because we all, as young black men, we all have different desires, especially coming from the hood, man.
Absolutely.
Every young black man from the hood, guess what? I don't care what we do. We still want to be known for popping that thing if we need to pop that thing, or jumping out of some fly whip and the girls are screaming. We all like that other stuff.
Right. Because that's what we know. That's what we know. But that's what we know, but also that's all we see at the end of the day. So that's what we aspire to be.
Right.
If somebody asks me, who do you look up to growing up? I looked up to the guy that was on the corner getting money. That's what I looked up. He had everything.
That blew your mind. That blew your mind.
It blew my mind the first time I seen somebody come on the block with a 96 Lex.
That blew your mind, man.
It blew my mind, man, at the end of the day. And that's something I'll never forget. And I looked up to that person because I didn't understand the dynamics of what was going on.
It did. And unfortunately, Mello, those guys were really, to tell the truth about it, they were really, really brilliant, intelligent businessmen.
Absolutely.
You did not just look up to them because they dressed good and jumped out of fly cars. They had a physique to them too.
They handle business.
They was businessmen, man. If you didn't see them dudes right there, because guess what? All of them dudes you seen that was jumping out of them cars that was fly, that shit showed in your game too.
Yeah, because I kept that same mentality at the end of the day.
You did.
When I was young, all I wanted was a Mark 8. All I wanted was a 10 and out.
You wanted the Mark 8?
all I wanted was a Mark 8. All I wanted
was a clock on the back.
Yeah, all I wanted was a Mark 8. All I wanted was a box crown Vic, a grandma. These are all the things that that's the only thing I wanted, because
that's crazy.
I knew that the people who had it, they had some sense of a business mind. And because they was able to get that, I wanted that. And I wanted to know how they got that, right? I didn't have a sense of fucking business at 13, 14, none of that. But I knew that they was doing something right. I thought they were doing something right for them to have those things. So everybody, all the hoods have very similarities. There's a lot of similarities in every hood. It's just different people, different areas, but the hood is the hood at the end of the day. You learn so much. You learn so much. I've learned so much from growing up in that environment, to the point that I started taking that and applying that to my career, my game.
Yeah, because if you wouldn't have been a monster out there without that.
No, I needed that, and that's earlier that's what was fueling me, because I needed that motivation. I needed to know that this is where I came from at the end of the day.
Right.
And so it was. I give a lot of credit to those people without even knowing that they had that influence on my life.
Right. And would you say if there was one thing in the NBA that you could change as far as race was concerned, what would that be, man?
It's like in the NBA in particular, I think we do a great job of being able to have a voice first and foremost. Like I think Adam Silver give us an opportunity to,
no doubt,
just use our platform. You know what I'm saying? To do what we got to do and see what we got to do. I would love to see kind of more owners step up, right? And I don't want to say be held accountable, but just you see what we going through as black men, as black women in our country. Show me that you feel what we feeling at the end of the day, and that's the only thing that I would ask for. You would like to money with your mouth at, but just show me you have a sense of understanding of what we may be going through.
Right.
And that's all I have.
No doubt, because I mean a big percentage of the league is brothers, man, and it's just real, man. We just at a time right now, man. We gotta stay prayed up, man, and I try to tell all the brothers, man, that if you don't have any kind of spirituality, man, you should try to find some, man, because that higher spirit is what everybody needs in this day and time right now. I'm not really the Mr. Bible man, but I believe in God and I give him his credit no matter what is going on, no matter what we doing, man. And
that's a fact.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of young black men need to, if we recognize God, recognize that it's something greater than ourselves, it will help us through this life a little bit more too,
I say we gotta study more. Like we gotta read more, we gotta study more. At the end of the day,
study that Bible, huh?
We gotta know who we are as people, as black men, as black people, where we came from, how we got here, how we are in the position that we're in today. This ain't just start.
No.
You know what I'm saying? 400 years is, cool. It's been way past 400 years that we've been dealing with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
these cops is killing us like it's water, like it ain't nothing, man.
But that's systemic. That's years and years of doing the same thing. The difference between the times we in now and then back in the day in the 60s and all of that?
A cell phone.
A cell phone at the end of the day. That's the only thing. We're able to see it. People are able to see it and feel it now. And then now we have a younger generation who is woke. And this new generation is not to be played with because for one, they're woke, they revolutionary.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
And they got white kids. They got other races rolling with them. And,
absolutely.
And I want to give that. I'll give that props to hip hop. Even though I was one to say that hip hop is one of the reasons why some of the brothers is committing some of the crimes that they commit. Hip hop has also brought a lot of races together.
We're cultural. We're cultural. Hip hop is cultural.
Yeah,
it's cultural. You could be any color and be hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cultural at the end of the day, and that's something that we got to continue building on. Like, you know, it's you know, hip hop has its ways and has its songs and has its own type of music, but at the end of the day, we are cultural creators. We're cultural icons, and you know, in hip hop. So we gotta continue to build on that. At the end of the day, we can't be tearing the hip hop community down. You know, it's good hip hop and it's bad hip hop at the end of the day. But we are who we are. This is ours. This is something that we can call ours.
Who you rolling with? Who you listening to now, man? Who you listening to now? You like that you like young not young boy, but I like Wiley Chopper. I like Chopper.
So Chopper is dope. You know, I'm a 90s hip hop guy. I'm an early.
I still like
That's like my foundation. And then I'm 2000s. I'm early. You know, I'm early to mid 2000s. That's that was a different era.
Who's your best five rapper?
See, you already put me on the spot.
Nah, you ain't gotta answer that. I know that's a tricky question for everybody. Bro.
Hey, look, but also like I gotta give a shout out to the artists today, because as an older G in this game in sports or just hip hop in general, we're so quick to be like, nah, that shit sound whack. Like, but that's the sound of the times at the end of the day. So we cannot turn our back to those guys who are making new music. This is new music. This is a new sound. And that's what hip hop is. It's all about being creators. It's all about being creative. It's all about.
And some of it you like though. Some of them beats you beat. Some of that you beat.
1,000%. You know,
like that's wrong.
I give everybody an opportunity. Like when something come out, I listen, and I don't just skim through it. I sit there. I give it a chance. I listen, and then after I listen to it, if I don't like the body of work, and if I don't like how it was put together, if I don't like something, then that's my opinion. But I do give everybody an opportunity to show me their artistry at the end of the day. Because you as a real hip hop head, you gotta know the artistry. You gotta support the artistry.
They got a big one coming up. They talking about Snoop Dogg and DMX on that Versus joint. What you think?
I like that. Hey,
the dogs is going at each other, man. We need both of the dogs. Shit going, huh?
We need both of the dogs to go at it. We need it. We need that. Let me ask you something else. What speaking of music and kind of this younger generation, like what advice do you have for like young, aspiring, particular Black comedians, actors, and just in our current landscape today? Like what advice you have for them?
Well, you know what? If any advice that I would give any of the young brothers, man, is, you know, to understand that the present is for the future. It's for you to set up yourself for the future. You know, because if you see a young artist, you see a young brother that's living in the present and not thinking about his future, you know, that's a bad situation. I tell all the young guys, man, it's one thing for sure, two things for certain. All you got to do is go look at their manuscript. Whatever they did on their manuscript, that's what you should do. If you need to own some real estate, because that's something that you can pass down to your children and generations. We need to do the same thing that they did, that made a legacy, because that's what we don't have in our as black men. We don't have legacies where we can live. My great grandson Carmelo and your great grandson is living off of money that we made for them.
Absolutely. I have a quote that I live by, and it goes like this. It says, "If you want to keep what you have, you must give it away." At the end of the day, and I say that because, especially in the black community, we always want to gain, and not give it back. Right now is the time that's open where we got to give that knowledge back in order to keep our vision moving forward and our word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that you said it, because I live by that quote. At the
no
end
doubt,
of the day,
that's real.
If you want to keep what you have, you got to give it. You must give it away. You know, any knowledge, we can't go to our grave with all this knowledge. We got to give that back. We got to keep putting these in our futures at the end of the day. So
gotta give it back.
That's crazy that you said that, man. And that quote, really kind of stands with me and live with me when it comes to that.
That's a good one. That's a good quote, man. And I tell all these little young dudes, man, growing up, you're gonna have growing pains as a young man. Growing pains are not easy. They really hurt, especially growing pains as a young black man in America. They really, really hurt. And just know that you the king, man. Know that you are. I want all the young black men, if you listening to us right now, that you are the original man. You are chosen. That's why you're being attacked. The way you're being attacked is because you are the chosen person, man. You chosen, man, and you got a lot of obstacles, but guess what? That's what kings got. Kings got obstacles, and learn to forgive yourself, because you're going to make mistakes as a young man. Forgive yourself and keep going, and turn that into power, and to give it to somebody else to help them get through some struggling battles. That's what I want to tell young guys.
That's powerful, champ. That's powerful.
Because that's what our young brothers are fighting in them hoods all day, man.
Absolutely.
You gotta keep going, man. You can't look back, man.
You can't do that. And you currently in production right now, right? Just to kind of flip it over a little bit.
Me and Wanda Sykes, we got a show on Netflix, man.
That's the Upshaws, right?
The Upshaws, man.
Talk about that. Talk to the people.
Me and Wanda Sykes got a show called The Upshaws on Netflix. And when I tell you Wanda Sykes, if anybody know about Wanda Sykes is a woman that is, when I tell you, naturally funny, man. She remind me of like when them shows was on, like What's Happening and Good Times, and she's got that kind of humor that's like, it's throwback, but it's new, and man, it's just an honor to work with her. And I'm also working with the great Kim Fields, so.
Of course. Big shout out to Kim.
Big shout out to Kim Fields.
Well, how was it like navigating production like during COVID?
It's been rough, Carmelo. We haven't been back to work since COVID-19, We haven't been back to work. So, we just are in a holding pattern like everybody else, man. They're trying to, it's not Netflix, it's the county. The county's trying to figure out a way, because people will start suing people if they go to work and get sick on the sets and stuff.
Yeah, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap,
baby.
It's deeper than rap.
You can't even rap about it. It's so rap.
I got one more question, man, before I let you go. It's almost 10 o'clock.
It was so great talking to you, man. It's
always
so great talking to you.
Oh, I'm glad you was able to, kind of bless what's in your glass tonight.
Yeah, man.
What lessons do you hope our country can take from the current movement?
You know what? I've been fortunate enough, Carmelo, as yourself, to travel all over the world, And as I traveled all throughout the world, I learned that the land that we live on, the opportunities that we have, the way we grew up, that we were very, very fortunate and blessed in so many ways in this country. And this whole coronavirus thing that's going on, unfortunately, because of what it's done to people and families, it's destroyed a lot of people. A lot of people have been sick. Unfortunately, and fortunately, it has taught us a lot of things and a lot of values that I think this country had lost when it comes to families and values and loving one another and getting caught up in the grand scheme of money and greed. This country was rolling pretty fast. It was really out of hand, man, you know. And since this pandemic has happened, I think this country, the people in this country, we have learned what love is. People are spending time with their families now, and I think we have learned a lot, man, from this. I think we have learned. I think when we come back, I think we also have learned that this country is never going to ever be the same again.
Facts.
We'll never be able. I think a lot of people's fighting it. That's why people are getting sick, because people still want to go back to what we were. And unfortunately, I just don't think this country's ever going to be the same, man, you know. But again, I love living in the United States, man. I've traveled to some places and seen some beautiful beaches and couldn't wait to get back to the United States, you know. So as bad as the rules are and as bad as they treat us in this country, you know, still a great place, man. Still great people in this country. Everybody ain't evil and everybody ain't mean. You know, everybody ain't the Ku Klux Klan. Everybody ain't white supremacy. Everybody black don't hate white people. You know, is we got some bad apples in the batch. And but other than that, man, you know, we strong, we resilient. Black people, we resilient, we strong, we forever forgiving. That's one thing about us, we forever forgiving, man. And that's that beautiful soul and that spirit that we have genetically, that we forever forgiving, man. You know, and we forgive each other, we forgive everybody, man. But it's time to get together, man, and show them by example that we love each other. It's gonna make them hard for us to hate us when we showing them how much we love each other.
And that's an ultimate actual fact right there. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's so much shit going on out here in our country, in our own backyards, and our communities. And you know, as celebrity, as people with some type of status, we still 6 degrees separated, maybe 3 degrees separated from what's going on and what's happening. So I think now is the time where, like you said, as a country, we was moving too fast. Everything was moving too fast. Financial market was moving too fast. The tech world was moving too fast. We was just moving too fast, and I think that the Almighty and all praise due had to slow us down so we could kind of recenter ourselves and get back on our square and see the things that really matter to us. At the end of the day, and I think that's what we're doing now. That's what's happening to us now. And you have the police brutality. You have all of that shit that's going on at the end of the day. But that's been going on for years. We've been fighting that for years. But now we're putting a hard stop to that. We're saying,
yeah, we tired, man.
We're tired. Enough is enough. Y'all done did this shit to us for so many years. Enough is enough. We tired. Here's how we're gonna strike back. We're gonna be heard. We're gonna do what we gotta do. But we also gonna set examples for who we are as kings and as queens at the end of the day. So I'm gonna leave it with that, Mike.
Man, spoke really well. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you, my brother, man. It's you know, every Monday, what's in your glass? Look, I'm glad you went out there and got that open. I'm glad you went out there and got that open, man. But it's always love, man. When we come back to Indy, whenever that is,
yeah,
you know, you got my support, man. I'm gonna holler at you, and it's always love, man. I appreciate you, champ.
Much love, Carmelo. Thank you for what you did for us, man. Keep playing that ball, man. Keep shooting that pill, man. We love you, man.
Absolutely, always love, man. Peace.
All right, baby.
All right, baby. Peace.